Okay, so today we want to do a lesson on how, let's just say we created this part right here, and we want to come up here, we want to write a quick little program to measure a couple distances, hole diameters and things. And let's just say that we want this part, we'll probably run it again in 3 months, so I'm not going to worry about making a dedicated alignment. I'm just going to put it down and do a manual alignment with a CNC program, so that when I come back up here in 3 months, the program's already written. I just have to redo my alignment. So I've already entered into the learn mode, as you see. So the first thing I want to do is let's just talk about, we're going to do the manual alignment. One of the other videos in the past have shown that, and I'm going to use a plain line. So I'm going to come up here and click plain. I want 4 points. It's telling me I'm waiting. It's waiting on hit 1 out of 4 hits in a plain mode. All right. Oh, shoot. I'm coming to kind of the extents. Okay, so if you remember from last video, to set the top plane as my Z0, I'm going to come up to coordinate system, align the base plane. It's already defaulted, which will plane. I've only measured 1, so it's saying the top. So now it has set the top of my part as my Z0. All right, so now I'm going to measure a line. 2 hits, let's call it front. So we can keep up with which one it is. Let's drive it over here. Come down. It didn't take because I wasn't in measure mode. All right, so now I want to go into the coordinate system, align axis parallel to axis. So when I say I want my front line in line, even though it's sitting on the table slightly skewed, when I click OK, it's going to align the line true to the x-axis. Front line, yep. Right now we're just in alignment. So I want to do another line, and I want to call this one my left line. But okay, let's go over here, and it is important to go in the direction that you want your XY. So if you noticed on the front, I started here and went that way. Now I'm starting here and going that way because I want my XY positive to be in that quadrant that way. So it is important on which way you hit the lines. Instead of front to back, I want to go, instead of back to front, I want to go front to back. Get it right in a minute. All right. Now I've established a line this way and a line this way. Now where these two infinite lines intersect, I want that my point, my XY origin. So to do that, it's a 2-step process. Go to point. I want to call this point origin. And instead of measuring a point, I want to intersect a point. I want a point where these two lines intersect. So when I click OK, it's going to ask me, you want an intersection of what? Plane to a circle, circle to a line, point to a line. Well, I want where line 1 and line 2 intersects. Hit OK. You can kind of see it on the screen. It has created my little point there. So I haven't set the origin. All I've done is edge find, like on a CNC mill per se. I haven't set it yet. To set it, I go to coordinate system, create origin. Where do I want my origin? Well, I've already found my edge. So now I want to set my edge as my origin. Make sure this X and Y are active. Hit OK. So now, if you notice the lines, if I come back over here and I kind of hover above my origin where I think it should be, kind of hard to see because I don't want to hit the camera. All right, I'm just kind of bumping it. So I'm roughly right over top of my origin. So that tells me I'm correct. All right, so we have manually aligned it. Just like if you was to bring it apart, no dedicated alignment, we just throw it on here, measure it. I mean, throw it on here, not measure it, throw it on here, create an alignment. Because we don't know in 6 months, the guy who's this QC department may have a fixture right here, and we may have to stick it in the back somewhere. So I didn't want to do a dedicated alignment on it. So now that I've manually aligned it, I want to enter the CNC mode. So I'm going to go up here to Machine, cut the CNC on. So from this moment forward, whenever I go to repeat, it will be taken off and running automatically from CNC on down. So if you remember on the Go To button, when we're inside a CNC, we need to start using Go To. All right. Another thing, since I manually aligned it with my hands, and I know it's on L when I hit it, still I may be patty caking with it. I may not be hitting it consistently. It's always a good idea to go back and realign it in CNC mode, because the CNC is going to drive the hits at the designated speed, and you will have a more accurate alignment. Now it may only be 2/10, but 2/10 is more accurate. So I'm in CNC mode. I'm going to go back and do my manual alignment again. So I'm going to hit plane, and I'm just going to call it top, but if you look, it's telling it the second plane. It's in memory because it knows it's already measured 1. So I'm going to come up again. I know my last hit was here, so if I put a Go To right here, it's going to go to that point. Then I can come over here, come down, and do another Go To, and it's storing these Go Tos. All right, here. Can you see back there? Okay, now remember we got to do our line, and I'm going to call this one front 2. This is my second front line. Okay, remember some Go To points. I'm just going to come up, Go To. I'm going to drive over here, Go To. Couldn't tell. You know what? I might ought to drive back a little bit more. Another Go To. Now I can measure it. Now if I just go straight across and my part is skewed more, it may run into it later on. So I'm going to drive it out here, go to, then drive it back here, go to, take my hit. All right. Now I got to do another line. Oh, I got a line axis, parallel axis. You know, I don't remember if I did on the plane. I don't think I did the line base plane. Let's just go ahead and do that. I like to do things in order. I'm a little out of order here. Plane, which plane? The second top plane. Okay. So I've just reestablished my second top plane as my plane. My second front line is my axis, parallel axis. So let's do another line. This one's going to be left 2. Oh shoot, it didn't take. Okay, come up, go to, come over, go to. I may even want to do another go-to here. It's not going to hurt to have more go-tos than you need. Take the hit. I'm going to, because I don't know which way I'm going to skew it. I may go back here, go-to, go-to, take the hit. All right. Now we create a point. It's recording. We're in CNC, so it's recording everything we're doing. Intersection, memory 2, so it's my, matter of fact, we could call it origin 2. Okay. Between the front 2 and the left 2. So this is our remeasure. I want to create my origin at origin 2. Okay, we have just realigned it with the machine. All right, so now I just want to measure a couple holes. So I want to measure circle, front left hole. All right, that sounds like a good one. Remember our go-tos, just don't take off running. Go to. What I like to do on holes is position roughly in the middle of the hole. Go to. Drop down in here. Measure. All right, so since we have done an alignment, technically we've done 2, it's given us our X positions, our Y positions, our diameter, and the Z is just warped down. We were 213 thousandths below plane where we hit it. Really not all that important, but the biggest thing is it gives us our X and Y. So let's just measure another hole. Let's just measure another hole. Let's call this one right hole. Okay, come up out of it, go to about the middle, go to, drop down in there. You can actually hit a go to here, will not hurt. Force of habit for me, I tend to go north, south, east, and west when I'm measuring. That's just a personal preference. All right, the hole is 745 thousandths 3/10. It's sitting at 5.105 in the X, 1.504 in the Y. Let's just do one other thing. Since we've already hit this line twice, we've got a left 2. Let's measure the overall width. So let's do another line. call that right. Once you start doing a bunch, like this is line 5, you really start to name them, because if we were measuring all these different lines, before long you're going to get confused on which line you're trying to get a distance on. So let's come over here. All right, come up out the hole, go to. I'm going to just go down, let's go another go to. I'm going to go and get this shelf right here. Go to. If you ain't sure, just hit go tos. All right, I'm going to go kind of that way, kind of that way. All right, so all that's giving me is my line. Let's do a distance between line 5 and left 2, between our right and our left 2. 5.9118 is our overall width of that. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's just say that's all we wanted to do. We're going to bring this part up here in 3 months from now. We're going to do an alignment. We want to measure that hole, and get the overall width. So we're done. We'll just come up, go to. I always like to go back and park it somewhere, go to. Now we come to machine. Let's cut our CNC off. CNC off. Let's close our learn mode out. We want to save the part program. I called it junk 1 just because I'm just using it for teaching demos. Okay, so we have done this part. Now, we come back 4 months from now, 3 months from now, we're taking the same part over. We come in and we're like, you know what? I got a program in there somewhere for this part. Of course, it wouldn't be called junk. It'd be called drawing 3861. Put it on there. I don't even care if it's straight. Just put it on there. Find the program in here, whatever one it is. And this one's junk 1. Then we go in here to repeat. Now it's going to be the test of time if I got this right. So, all of the clicks with the mouse I don't have to do when I'm in run mode. Repeat mode is what they call it. Since it's already done everything, and now it's waiting on me to hit the 4 points. So I'm coming over here. And again, this was not within CNC, so I don't have to worry about the go-tos. You'll see those in a moment. So all I'm doing is just measuring these 4 points until it can get an alignment, and then it'll take off on its own. Now it's telling me, okay, I'm waiting on my front line. It already aligned the base plane. All right. And you can put notes in here so it'll tell you which one to measure or where to measure. That's another step. I didn't do that in this video. You can actually take pictures. All right, now it's telling me to measure another line. And without notes in here, if you didn't know what, 4 months from now, you may forget. Which line am I supposed to be making? So you would definitely want to put notes. We'll show that in another video. All right. Now, so before I take this hit, I want to let you know, as soon as I take that hit, she's going to jump into CNC Own and start remeasuring my plane. And I'll be done. And it's going to do everything itself. Let's see if it works. Probably need to set the clearance height a little higher. It just realigned it. I'll drop in here and measure this hole. So I'm going to go over there and measure that hole. So I'm going to come up and measure that line. Come up and park. And it's at the end of the program. Now, I didn't have it in here, but if you were doing mass production of this, you could actually have it to output into either a PDF form, or you can print it if you had the printer hooked up. In the program, we can go back and look at our dimensions. Hole looks right, hole looks right, XY looks right, XY looks right. The distance, that looks 5.9117, that looks right. So if you didn't want to output a PDF, you just want to check these dimensions, you can scroll back up through into your results window and see that. So, and then when you finish, you just stop, and keep in mind we were in repeat mode. So that is doing a non-dedicated alignment, doing a manual alignment, and then taking off in CNC mode and measuring the part. We'll do the next one is going to be on doing it with a dedicated alignment. You can probably imagine that's going to be easier because you cut the CNC on to begin with and let it do its alignment. So you don't have to do the manual alignment first. Hope that helps.